Let's head over again to East Africa, where despite Sudanese Prime Minister Abdalla Hamdok's reinstatement and the release of 4 high-ranking political detainees over the weekend, many remain skeptical over the new deal with the country's military. The country's military head, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, had detained Hamdok and other government ministers amid the military coup that took place on October 25th, which has led to the killing of more than 40 people who had been protesting the military takeover. Hamdok told multiple news outlets, including CNN today, that he agreed on the deal with the military to lead a civilian government for a transitional period in order to avoid more bloodshed. But protests continue in the country. Here now to unpack what's happening, as she joins us from the epicenter of the unrest in Sudan, is writer, organizer, and analyst Muzan Alneel, who is a non-resident fellow at Tahrir Institute for Middle East Policy. Muzan, thank you so much for joining me on Black News tonight. What are the organizations that are behind on-the-ground protests in Sudan?
Thank you for having me. The organizations that are organizing right now the protests in Sudan are the neighborhood resistance committees. When the coup took place on October 25th, people took to the streets immediately, started building barricades as early as 6 a.m. in the morning of the coup and marching to the streets. And this continued. The people continued to protest basically under the leadership and according to the protest schedules that are put out by the resistance committees. Neighborhood resistance committees are grassroots organizations that were mostly formed in January 2019 and the following month to take the role of executing decentralized protest to paralyze the state's ability to violently oppress all the protests at the same time. And over the past 2 years, the 2 years of the power share and transitional period, the government did not create any tools of democratic participation in the political process, and it also took a lot of policies and decisions that went against the revolutionary goals of freedom, peace, and justice, whether criminal justice or economic justice. The government worked to protect the military and the militia generals from criminal justice, and also prioritize the demands of the international community in economic liberalization over the economic interest of its people. So at this time, the resistance committees became the voice of the streets in putting out the demands of the streets and rejecting certain policies that goes against what they saw as the goal solution. During the weeks before the coup, those committees organized anti-coup protest basically preceded the coup itself. And the latest of which was on the 21st of October, basically 4 days before the coup. Also, several labor unions at the time put out proactive strike announcements that go effective at the moment of the coup. And accordingly, people in Sudan were ready to fight the coup. They knew what to do regardless of the internet shutdown. And over a month since the coup now, resistance committees were putting out their demands, which included total removal of the military from political process. They put out the 3 no's slogan, that is no negotiation, no partnership, and no legitimacy. The national elite and the international mediators ignored the protest that went organized and called for and scheduled, clearly pre-announced by the resistance committees, and they organized their demands. They ignored their demands, and continued to call for a dialogue, basically, with the coup and a return to the pre-coup partnership with the military. However, we still see that the resistance committees are strong and capable of continuing organizing the protests on the streets.
Yeah, you talk about sort of, and I want to get this from you before we go, there seems to be an attempt to return things to the way they were pre-coup, but there seems to be some distinctions here. The reinstatement of Abdalla Hamdok is like before, but 4 high-ranking ministers are being effectively fired. And so the dynamic seems to be one where Abdalla Hamdok will be less powerful, where the people will have less of a reason to believe that there's a stable partnership, and where the military has sort of increased presence and power in the governing of people. I mean, it seems to me that we're moving further away from civilian rule. Is that accurate?
Definitely, you are right, and this is exactly what the people saw, and why people directly after announcing the deal chanted against Abdullah Hamdok. The new deal is between the military coup and the prime minister. It removes the civilian partners, which is the opposition leadership from 2018-2019. So now it's just a deal with the military and the prime minister that legitimizes military rule, legitimizes the military coup in Sudan, eliminates any chance of holding the criminal generals and civilians accountable if this agreement holds. But also, as they announced the deal, they did not understand the strength of organizing among the masses. And they made the mistake of announcing it, as I told you, during a pre-planned march. And people started chanting against the deal. Even the welcoming statements that we saw from the US Embassy or from the Troika or the UN, they keep on working on this framework of prioritizing stability or any sort of stability over accountability and over the rights of the people. Basically a very counter-revolutionary approach, and even a racist approach that prioritizes almost every international player's interest over the rights of the Sudanese people. But because their framework fails to take into consideration and to accommodate grassroots organizing, they failed to see how much it was rejected, and it was rejected. There are already a Millions March, what we call a Millionia, planned for the 25th, where more than 25 actually major cities in Sudan, resistance committees in those cities announced that they will be marching against the coup, and now against Hamdok as well, since he became the prime minister of the coup.
Wow. So there's so much here to cover, Muzan, and I want to have you back so we can go even more in depth, not just with what has happened, but also to keep a close eye on what's happening on the continent and specifically in Sudan as the developments change, and they seem to change every single day on the ground. So hopefully you'll come back and join us again on Black News Tonight.